here once again to discuss each and everything under the sun in retrospect with the young people. And with me, I have an incredible team as always, and I'm excited to have them introduce themselves. And I'll start right here. Hello, Dr. Patricia.
Hello, I am Patricia Chano Kiria, Deputy Inspector General of Government, and I'm very happy to be part of this show.
Yes.
Thank you, Hannah, for having me here today. My name is Joel Sakwa. I'm very excited for what you're going to do today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Monica Achayo. Delighted to be here today.
Yes. How has your week been, guys? Has it been interesting?
Exams.
Exams?
Hot.
For the campusers, it's about exams, but for us, the working class, every day is like an examination.
Oh. And yet, most times we dream about life after campus. We think it's something relaxing, and it's interesting to find out it is equally challenging as us being in university. Well, today on Your Space, we're going to be discussing about social harmony.
Wow.
And this is a topic I am very excited to dive into because it brings in so many different aspects. And just right before we got onto air, we had a little discussion, and I can't wait for you guys to hear all the stories we have for you today. But maybe you could start by describing what social harmony is. Dr. Patricia, what do you describe as social harmony?
To me, social harmony is building unity of purpose, getting to focus on things that bring unity, that unite people, and discouraging those that divide the people. Because out there are so many things that unite people. Things like soccer, getting to watch this movie together, getting to study and do research together, getting to work together in our different workspaces. So if we focus on unity of purpose, then we promote social harmony. And it can be promoted through cooperation, through mediation, through reconciliation, alternative dispute resolutions, and so on. But for the life of a student, I know that there are challenges for a coexistence in their halls of residences or the different hostels. You find that people come from different walks of life.
Patricia, let's put a halt on that for now. We are coming back into that.
Yes.
But Joel, what do you describe as social harmony?
There is a saying, it says that humanity is diversity. So, of course, it has been misused by several people. People want to use it for other ways, but in its plain form, we are different as humans. But then we must find that place that I may call the crunch, like the point where we are united, like she was saying, the unity of purpose. And I believe this topic of social harmony is calling us as Ugandans to that place, to that understanding that irrespective of our differences, we must find a place where we can stay with each other happily. We understand each other. Even when there are challenges, we understand that, yes, this person he's not a god, okay? But so he's human and able to make a few mistakes, but we understand, we help them to overcome. So that's what social harmony is about. It's all about being in that place of understanding, livability. It's very important.
Livability.
Yes.
What about
being
you,
able to coexist?
Yes, coexisting, Monica, what do you describe as social harmony?
Something I won't really add much. According to me, social harmony is the ability to live together without feeling the urge of killing anybody.
Yes.
That is a very difficult explanation. And I wanted us to come back to the reality. Before we have social harmony, sometimes it's a bit of a disconnect. Cohesion is a bit difficult. And I think that's what you're trying to explain, Dr. Patricia, how, we come from different places and sometimes it's hard for us to come together as one.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I want to pick from where Monica stopped. Without having the urge to kill anybody, meaning that you need to be able to coexist. You need to avoid those indecent practices or acts that bring conflicts, that brew disagreements or misunderstandings. So you find people come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different ethnicity. They are tall, short, slender, fat, different sizes. But irrespective of the differences, we need to coexist. Meaning that people have different temperaments as well.
True.
Like in the university hostel, you'll find that there is this roommate who cannot tolerate your practices, and vice versa. You may not be able to like what the other roommate probably wants to cook or eat, because we have different cultures, different practices, and different things. But we must be able to coexist. So social harmony is the ability to be able to live together, irrespective of our background, irrespective of our height, irrespective of our culture and traditions, irrespective of our upbringings. Yes.
Monica, I saw Monica laughing a little bit when Dr. Patricia was talking. Monica, why are you laughing?
But she's always laughing.
Okay, honestly, the more you guys keep talking, the more I think I'm that roommate.
The roommate that is hard to live with.
There is a time my roommate was cooking mukene, and in my head I'm like,
Oh my God, mukene.
how and why in public space? So, anyways, generally, but yeah, social harmony, very important.
What are some of your experiences when it comes to it being a bit difficult to be one with like the people around you and your community?
It goes back to culture and upbringing and very many other aspects. Sometimes it can be something, even religion. People are so personal about certain things that when you get down to those nitty-gritties, you find them fighting over almost everything. But so the most difficult thing is really finding the bigger purpose. Why are the two of you in the same space? For instance, my mom usually says, learn to be accommodative. Understand that, yes, people are, you're not the easiest person to live with. So if someone else is willing to deal with you, you should also be able to accommodate. So that goes out of home, it goes to hostels, it goes to halls, it goes to the country as well, even the public spaces. So
I think one of the biggest things, the biggest challenges we face is respecting and mutual respect, because social harmony comes with mutual respect. One of the biggest challenges I have with atheists is that, of course, they don't believe in God, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay, everybody has a right to believe in whatever they want to believe. But for them to feel like it's okay to disrespect other people that, other people that believe in God, is kind of disrespectful in a way. What do you think we need to ensure that we have social harmony in our community, Joel?
I think it gets back to that place where we have an understanding of everybody's place, first of all. Understand people, tolerate people, and sympathize with them where need be. And it's not that every time when we don't have our way, that everybody else is wrong. Okay?
Thank you.
So it does not necessarily mean that when everybody is not on your side, that doesn't mean that they are wrong. They are wrong. Or you are the correct person. You are the only correct among them. So I think it calls for an understanding of each and everybody's place. But then I won't say that we should just disregard the values that we have as a society. There are things that are wrong because they are wrong. It does not matter what you think about them.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know whether you think the same way.
Wait, Joel, let me get this. You're saying it's okay for everybody to believe in whatever they want.
Yeah.
But that doesn't leave aside the fact that some of the things we believe in are wrong.
Definitely.
But if they're wrong and I believe in them, don't I have a right to be respected about the things I believe in?
It's like saying that Canada is in Asia. Is that true? It's not true.
But
you have a right to believe it, don't you?
So
I will give you an example, because we have to have a win-win situation. For instance, if I do not eat pork and you're hosting me at your house and you put pork on the menu, that is disrespectful. So every time I'm hosting a function at my place, I ensure that I accommodate everybody else, including my Muslim counterparts. And I ensure that pork will not be on the menu because they are coming to be part of the function. So it is about being able to respect one another, irrespective of our beliefs, irrespective of our backgrounds, like I had said earlier on, irrespective of even the upbringings, because from our upbringings, some people are raised in a hostile environment. Sure. So when they grow up, they automatically find that they are hostile. And that hostility is felt by the people they live with. But to promote social harmony, if you have a hostile person, then you have to be that mediator, that person who bridges the gap. Of course, there are people who can appear like a toothache to you at times. They are very difficult to live with. But you know, for purposes of promoting social harmony, you have to calm down, you have to kumenyeka, you have to be able to accommodate, to reasonably accommodate that person, because we have to exist together. And this is the social harmony we are talking about. And there are advantages. You find that teachers at school are able to bring together all these children with their differences. You know, this one is saying, teacher, look at this one has taken my turn, so this one has, but they're able to harmonize, they're able to bring them together and be able to teach them together and raise them up together as the teachers, yes.
That's true. Maybe I want us to get into personal experiences now, because I think most times we relate more to real life experiences.
Yes.
Monica, what has been one of the very practical things you have done when you are faced with a very uncomfortable situation with somebody who is of a diverse thought, value, and culture?
Okay. Personally, what I've done is to create a safe space where we can have the conversation.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is. It will take everything in the inside of you.
What was the topic of that safe space? It's confidential information.
It was their space.
Okay.
But I took whatever, because it was a roommate and we were having challenges. Yes. But I also appreciated the fact that, man, this is our space. So if we don't fix it here, who is going to fix it for us? We're adults. You can't call your mom to fix it. No one else is going to come and fix it for you. So, and you guys, it's easier to be petty. It's easier to be petty any day but taking the responsibility and being mature and saying, let's actually sit down, let's have a conversation, let's fix it. What's the challenge with me? And how do you think I can fix it to be a better person, so that we both love the room we're coming back to? It was a really crazy one.
So that's what works for you, creating that space where you can actually talk about something and, break it down.
Yeah.
Regardless of how
you realize it's not as big as it was in your head when you actually sit and talk about it.
Very true.
Yeah. How about you, Sakwa? What do you do?
Okay, personally, I believe there is no relationship, because as our conversation is running, I've realized that we are getting down to this place of our interpersonal relationships. I'm a person that believes that there is no relationship that can survive without sacrifices. So we must be so deliberate each and every single day to ensure that we make the sacrifices that are necessary for our relationships to survive. Of course, you're going to be annoyed. It's gonna be tricky, but
let's put a pause on that. I love the way you brought in the sacrifice. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break. You're still right here on Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinitwe. Now, we are still discussing social harmony, and we're talking about the different ways we can always bring harmony in very uncomfortable positions. Now, Joel was talking about sacrifice, and I was asking myself, Joel, what did you sacrifice?
And for who?
And for who?
I don't remember anything.
And how did you sacrifice?
You've really entered deep.
Sacrifice.
Okay, so let's just begin it from a simple place. The person you live with every day, your roommate, you're on campus and you've been staying with this person, let's say for a semester or two. You've been trying to make things happen and they're not happening. You feel like even when you are talking, you just feel like, have you talked to somebody and you feel like this person is far from you? Like you're talking, but they're just flying over your head, like she was saying. So, but there are some things that you can do to make it, to bring life, to breathe life into the relationship. For example, I'm sorry, I'm not blowing my trumpet. Okay. But at times I wash my roommate's clothes. I wash,
do you need
I get down
roommate?
Ah, no, dear.
Those are the sacrifices.
Those are the sacrifices.
Yes.
Yeah, so
That takes a lot.
So you go.
That takes a lot.
So you wash the clothes. You help. Even sometimes he may wake up in a hurry and they don't lay their bed, and you have to help them lay their bed.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Because you need a neat environment.
yeah,
Yes.
very true. Because we are not going to wait for other people to come in and they say, but you people.
This is a room.
then you say, but this is not my bed. Because I think those are the things that bring about social harmony. And I remember sometime my roomie came down and told me, you know what, Joel, you challenge me. You really do challenge me. And time came and he started doing things differently. And I wouldn't castigate him that, oh, you know, this person is just bad. They don't want to do what. But sometimes it's not possible. And you have to be in to lend the helping hand.
But
So
that
I
is
think
a
that's where
real money.
sacrifice
That's
comes
a
in.
real money. Like, that is real manifestation of how love can actually change a situation. You keep loving someone until you know they feel loved at a point.
Yeah, very
but I think how, as much as we're being harmonious in school, you know, at a lower level, I still don't understand if this can affect how we act as a country. Dr. Patricia, how does social harmony affect us when it comes to Uganda as a whole? Does it really matter for me to be harmonious? I mean, it doesn't hurt the country.
Yes, it does, because when there is social harmony, know that there is going to be unity in the country. When there is social harmony among the citizens, if we are able to deal with issues on a daily basis in a constructive manner, in such a way that we do not brew more conflict, then we end up resolving issues amicably. I'll give you an example, like in a marriage. Me, I am married. I've been married now for 20 years.
Wow.
We are both from different backgrounds,
Inspired.
different tribes, different ethnicities, but we've got to live together with our different characters. You have to do what Joel does, make some sacrifices in order to make this relationship work out, in order to make it survive.
True.
I'll give you an example. While I was at campus, I was rather a closed-in person. I think I'm work in progress. And after the service at St. Francis, I would have to stand under a tree and wait for my friend and roommate and best friend, who would have to strategically stand outside chapel and hug and greet everybody that comes from church. Now, it taught me patience. Of course, I would grumble and say, but do you have to greet everybody? Do you have to? Today, I'm married to someone who is a sanguine, who has to greet everybody who comes out of church and find out how they are, how their children are doing. So I would patiently stand near him and be able to also greet the people he is greeting. And that has helped us blend together and build that social harmony. For a country, if the tribes and cultures can come together and agree on issues rather than dividing each other, issues that bring them together, like issues of commonality, like now we're talking about values. If we can project these values and we agree as a country that these values are important, they're significant, they will improve and change the mindset, they will contribute positively to fighting corruption, there will be social harmony. And people will be able to coexist together and will be able to put away these incidences of corruption. So for me, I think promoting social harmony, we have to be able to deal with issues on a daily basis, on a constructive manner, in order to promote unity rather than disunity. Recently, I was in a place called Isingiro. There was an issue, Western Uganda, an issue to do with this contractor who had done some percentage of work, abandoned the work. The community was up in arms. The district was up in arms. They wanted to terminate the contract. I said, no, we are not going to use the harsh arm of the law. Let me go down to the ground and do alternative dispute resolution to promote the social harmony we're talking about. So I was the arbiter. I went down on ground as the mediator, and I was able to meet the contractors, meet the community, meet the district officials in one big meeting. And we ended up reconciling. And the contractor agreed that for me, I am able to complete this work on condition that these people are able to pay me what they owe me. So the issue was resolved amicably without writing so many letters and terminating contracts. And so sometimes you save a lot. Many times people want to go for court process, but court also takes time. Takes time, and imagine this is a project funded under World Bank. The project money would go back. But to promote social harmony and to ensure that there is value for money and the community is getting service delivery, I was able to do that. Many times I do that in office as well, where there are conflicts that are there, and we prefer that we have alternative dispute approaches, dispute management, to have amicable settlement so that people go back and coexist. At their different workplaces, sometimes there are issues to do with people's performance, people's contracts, employment issues, ombudsman issues. We want people to coexist and be able to deliver services to this country. So it starts from family, it moves to the universities, it moves to institutions, even at our workplaces, and it can help the entire country when we look at it positively and we promote it. Yes.
How I wish everybody was you know, as amicable as you, Dr. Patricia, because the truth is not everybody is willing to take the high road and stand in the gap of disagreement and all that. But maybe Monica, I want you to let us know, how does it play a part if I am being harmonious in my room? Does that matter?
It does. It actually does, because you see what she has done. Now, if someone who was watching her or someone who was a party to that kind of conflict ever reaches another environment where she may not have a voice, but they are also having same issues, they'll be like, no, we've actually had a situation where we had such issues and it was worked out like this, like this, like this. So they'll also ably, you literally, what I'm saying is you inspire another person to take that road as well. And change begins like that. Begins with one person saying, not everyone has to go hard, not everyone has to be petty, not everyone has to be like, because there's that general thing of, Hannah, they're going to manus you if you keep doing that.
What do you mean by manus?
Wow.
So if you don't like, Dr. Patricia, I'm sure doesn't know what that term means.
Please educate me, Monica.
Please educate.
What does it mean?
You guys really?
Yeah.
They're going to keep looking down on you and disrespecting you. I've seen memes flying around everywhere that don't be too nice, they're going to use you and use you, or disrespect you and disrespect you. You get, because you want to always take the humble, gentle route. But then when you do what Dr. Patricia has done, you don't know how many people you're inspiring. And for that, you don't even need position. You don't need anyone watching. You don't need cameras to do that thing.
True.
You just need to be in that space and say, I'm going to live different. So, yeah, that's the impact really it has.
So, the one person on this team that has actually been very, very, very outgoing when it comes to social harmony, I want to know, Joel, what is the ripest fruit you have gotten out of standing in the gap of being harmonious? What has been the biggest fulfillment you've had?
Okay, I believe that's the very first word that I would have used, fulfillment, because it makes a lot of sense. It gives you a lot of peace to have done good. You know, when Jesus says that Paul, he says that do not get weary in doing good, because yes, you've read the scripture.
Yes, sir.
So my life, I think I've built it in a way that I do things for the good of others, and there's a place where I reach and I also get scared and say,
of yourself, and say you're too nice.
Then this becoming
like,
too much. Recently, I was at a wedding. A friend of mine was actually
Is he getting married?
Yeah, I was getting married.
Okay.
So they were talking about the groom, and they were saying, and they were advising the bride, and they were telling her, you know what? Please, Hillary, I'm sorry for mentioning the name, Hillary does not complain. But when you see him changing the face a little, please, you know that things are not moving on well. I think there are kinds of people like that, where we don't complain. You may be really in a tough situation, putting in a lot, and you end up like being used, like she was saying. But the fulfillment of all that is the fact that you've done good. That pays a lot. Having, like, going back to your bed and telling yourself, you know what, this was tough, but I've sacrificed and this person is having a good future. That's more fulfilling than any money that you'll ever get. So I think, yeah. I think
perhaps I can share with you an experience, a very, very recent one. You know, I had been used to parenting children, but now they have all become teenagers.
Wow.
Now, recently we were caught in a situation where people are supposed to be preparing to go to school and they're supposed to go for the haircut. But on Sunday, there was confirmation.
Wow.
So at the family altar, the boys were like, you know, Mommy, we cannot go for a haircut for school. We have to go and put some designs.
Yeah.
And the father was like, at whose cost? Because you need to clear that hair for
Wow.
school. So I had to come in and say, you know, we will agree. You will go and do your designs. You go to church. After church, you have to go and remove them.
Oh my
and
God.
everybody was happy. If I
Someone
was rigid, then there would be gloominess and people would not be happy. I would go disgruntled. So social harmony helps, first of all, helps us to connect with people. It promotes unity. It encourages people to overcome their differences. And then also, it helps us to give back to others. Like the example Joel was giving. If he's going to help that person to lay his bed, okay, with time that person will get embarrassed and say, why should Joel be helping me here in these spaces? But it helps bring unity. It helps them coexist. And it also helps you to maintain that sense of harmony and integrity with your peers. You help to build that social capital. By doing that small good turn, you don't know what you're doing to the heart of that person you're doing it to. But you're helping that person to learn. Even the difficult people we're talking about, when you do good things to a difficult person, he also gets to a point where he kumenyekas. He says, but how come this person is able to stoop low to help me in these situations? So I think it's a very wonderful thing we need to promote often, yes.
So now we are able to create this social harmony. But how do you maintain your sense of keeping harmony when the people around you are really trying to pick on you? Yeah. How do you stay in that sense of, okay, Hannah, you need to, you know, always look forward to creating harmony and peace around you. But how do you keep in that sense when everybody around you seems not to understand what you're trying to do, Monica?
Again, I think I've said this like many times on various topics. Surround yourself with people who think like you. Surround yourself with people who are trying to do what you're trying to do. Don't go around don't entertain company that is watering down certain things.
So you're saying we should cut off people who don't believe in the same things that we do?
Do not be equally yoked.
Do not be
equally yoked.
The Bible is clear.
Do not be unequally yoked.
Okay, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to also say is, okay, in a broader sense, we have very many people in our lives, but how many of those people do their voices penetrate into you to actually influence what you are? Okay, influence your decision making. Cut down the voices that influence your decision making.
I've not understood what you're saying.
All right.
Okay.
I'm in a space where I have like 10 friends, right?
Okay.
Out of these 10, 3 think the way I think, and they're trying to do what I'm trying to do. If the other 7 speak certain things, I don't have to let them influence what my next output, because we are running with different things, we're running with different visions, and we're trying to do very, very different things. So the only way to keep yourself sane is derive motivation from people who are doing what you're doing, and also keep yourself in places where people who are doing what you're doing are doing what you're doing.
That makes so much sense. It's like how a pastor can go to a club to preach. I mean, why are you going to a club to preach where everybody's not interested in that? So keep yourself surrounded with the right company so that you don't have to struggle so much in keeping your values. Let's just have a little closing remarks from everybody on the team, and then we'll be able to leave this place. Dr. Patricia.
I think what I would like to say for my closing remarks is that let us promote things that have good repute, things that promote unity, things that encourage people and inspire people, things that encourage people to live and coexist together, rather than things that bring conflict and brew disharmony. Yes.
That's true. Joel.
Yeah, I think the nexus, like what we've been talking about, really comes down to the place of our differences. So we should have a perfect understanding of our differences, and they should unite us more than divide us.
Monica, something, keep it short and simple.
No one has to be watching you. Just do what you feel has to be done. If it's the right thing, keep doing it. Don't listen to the negative voices and outsource people who think the way you think. And
Outsource people who think the way you think. I hope that after this episode, you feel a little bit more encouraged to be harmonious with the people around you. It's been your space, and we've had a lovely time with you. See you next Sunday.